这座雾都就如同9宫格，热辣直接，但又千姿百态。
天府之国好比大杂烩，天马行空却又包容万象。
Snake 就跟有一扇墙，任重而道远。
OMG 回归故里，必定血战到底。
我们的战术就像这个9宫格火锅，锁定目标，青云直上。
我们的策略就像红锅里的烫毛肚，未雨绸缪，运筹帷幄。
但是莫甘娜闪现上来 Q 一下，并没有 Q 掉，手里闪现往前大招打中了 ，Crystal 直接被击杀。被击杀的情况下，欧文再开启一个大招，把人都给抬了起来，过这闪现也没能走掉。
上一次川渝德比大战，你们反客为主拿下比赛，这次我们代表重庆前来挑战。
上次我们赢得胜利，这次我们蓄势待发，在成都主场等你们来战。
我敬重对手，却更相信队友。
我也明白，成功没有捷径，脚踏实地才能取得胜利。
Hello and welcome back to the League of Legends Pro League. If you have stuck with us for the last 3 hours, then good on you. I know there was one guy in chat who was counting down the minutes, so we're finally back and we're in Chengdu right now for our final matchup of the day. Oh, and it says, hello, my name is Richard Polskamp, and this is Zach Rusty Pie. How are you, Zach Rusty Pie?
G'day. I'm good. I'm ready to watch some League of Legends. Today is not exactly going to be the top of the table, but if set 1 has any inclination of what's to be expected, this can only be a good set.
That's true, but I believe set 1 was something special. You know, I think that set 1 is something that we may never witness again in our lives as commentators or indeed fans as well at home. So
maybe.
There will be something, but I know this is definitely a rival here today. The players just saying that the strategy compared to a 9-section hot pot. That's very cool. What do you think our casting is compared to, Rusty? If a fridge, perhaps?
I don't know, man. They were comparing each other to food, and they went through like 4 different types of foods, and I was really confused by the third option. I wasn't sure what was going on. I can't think of a food. What is commentary as a food?
I don't know. Maybe that's something, I don't know, perhaps an ice cream?
Gordon
really
Ramsay.
Sure. Something that you would enjoy. I don't know. Either way, get back to us on that. We'll have a think about it, and you too. But for now, let's take a look at the teams. Of course, we have Snake going up against OMG today, and I think we should probably take a look at what their schedule looks like moving forwards, because I know this is Snake Week. It's pretty much just Snake games back to back to back to back. And Snake so far, do you think they can make it, Rusty? Do you think they make a final run? Do you think they can get up there?
Snake should be the most favored to make the 4th place position. So they're currently fighting with FunPlus, Phoenix, and OMG. Those 3 teams are still in contention for that spot. Snake, with this many games left, 5 sets remaining, still have got the most room for movement.
Yep.
And that could be positive or negative movements. However, when you look at the current stat in the standings, they're pretty much even with everyone around them. 1 set ahead of OMG, 1 set behind FPX. So with this many sets remaining, and roughly 3 more sets, I should say, than the teams around them fighting for that 4th place spot, they are most likely to succeed. They should be the favorites, but they haven't won a set in a very long time, so it's really hard to say definitive favorites in that regard.
Yeah, that being said, I feel like the story is pretty similar for OMG coming into today as well. They haven't won a set for a long time either. I believe they've won 1 out of the last 6 games.
Yep.
So there's actually a pretty good chance for this to be the start, well, I guess, you know, the 2nd day in Snake's Rise. But you're right, they have a lot of games remaining. Yep. And right now we're in, week 8. And we still have technically 3 weeks of play.
Week 9.
Yeah, week 9. We're in week 9 now, exactly. So we're going into week 11, which is the first for the LPL and in fact the entire world. So there's plenty more games to play before we even get to playoffs.
Yep, certainly is. And with all of these games, you have to remember the context here for the remaining games from Snake is that today is the only easy game, so to speak, that they have got left because they go immediately into Rogue Warriors. They've got WEDG TOP type of games coming up. So this is the set that both teams need to win. And for OMG, I believe if they lose this one, it actually just knocks them out completely from contention into playoffs whatsoever.
Yeah, indeed. In fact, that's happening to a lot of teams recently. I know that Suning managed to snag their spot the other day as well. That's also an important thing to keep in mind. But yeah, I don't know. These teams definitely have still a shot at the chance. It just means that, yeah, you need to get into first gear immediately, you know, if you're one of those two teams.
And we have seen Snake recently. Their last set was against FunPun plus Phoenix.
FunPun Phoenix.
FunPun Phoenix.
Probably a better name, to be honest.
And it wasn't the best performance from Snake. So, and here's the thing, you know, we'll be able to recap what happened in that set very easily, but I wanted to add the caveat of I thought that FunPlus Phoenix were playing well. Just as much as I have my quarrels with Snake, I think FPX played up, they rose to the occasion, and they played very well as a team, and they were able to best Snake on the Rift. Snake still had some positives that they can take away from that set, but unfortunately for Snake, that was so recent that it was last night, and now they've had to go to Chengdu via plane, so they haven't had a lot of time to settle down to prepare and really get themselves together for this set. They're just going to be in hot straight away.
Yeah, I mean, you know, FPX are a team who just, like, plays up randomly. It doesn't really... I don't know what the occasion is, you know, because you have some teams like BLG and they'll just, like, play up because it's, like, an EDG match or it's a big match for them, but FPX just kind of have those days where it's just, like, it's going to be the best team in the league for some reason, and then they just win.
They do actually,
you know?
do that,
so then you also have, like, Snake, and I think they've had a very up and down trajectory over the last couple of weeks of play, and probably the entire split, you know, because we had the whole gun funneling meta. I guess so it was, because you're funneling it into your marksman who has a gun, you know.
He was Graves, so that kind of applicable in some regards. But, you know, the funnel is gone. The funnel has been removed from Snake, and they have actually been able to diversify, I would have said, at least strategically, by getting rid of that funnel, because the way that Snake funneled is they had 2 supports playing on the roster. So by having 2 supports, you limit your strategies to one thing completely. Otherwise, you would bring in an AD carry instead. So now they've brought back the AD. They did try funneling with Guoguo playing the Taric in the Taric E combo, and it was not that successful. So I think now all we're seeing from Snake is just standard, and maybe it is about finding themselves again, and teams have truly discovered that it's not just going to be an unconventional game of League now. They're playing front-to-back regular League of Legends, and Snake have been losing during this style opposed to winning with the funnels.
Now, would you say that their win condition is... Well, obviously it's moved away from being a gold funnel, but what would you say their win condition is now then?
So, I mean, Snake's biggest win condition that you have to take from them, and I will even draw inspiration from their last set that they played against FPX, is that they need to unlock their top laner. So, SOFM's always been the focal point of Snake. If you ever watch a Snake set, you know that SOFM is the heart and soul of the team. With every breath that he takes, if he is still alive, Snake is still in the game. That's usually how you would look at it. If he can get top lane, if he can unlock Flandre, then Snake not only have SOFM being a carry on the team, they have team fighting that comes from Flandre. He's a very good teleport player, and he gets access towards the bottom lane very successfully, more often than not when he has a lead. So that's what you're going to look at with these guys here. It's all about unlocking SOFM, bringing that to the top lane, translating that into a top side lead, and then bringing all of that down towards the bottom lane to find a successful team fight and eventually a map victory.
Yeah, it definitely makes a lot of sense for Snake, because one of the teams who actually will play towards SOFM a lot of the time as well, you know, compared to some... But usually the jungler is the person who's facilitating the lanes, but, you know, SOFM gets a lot of the share in the jungle, no matter what the meta is.
I mean, philosophically as well, the LPL doesn't always play towards their junglers in the same way that other regions may want to do. They often play towards their laners. So you'll see someone like MLXG is a very good example of this. More often than not, you'll find him MLXDing around on the Rift, making mistakes, could be on his lonesome, could have a mid laner roam to him, but why would that happen when he could go to his mid laner and they could make the plays? And it has been wildly successful for teams like RNG when you're able to refine that strategy. But SOFM and Snake seem to be the one exception to that rule, almost in the entire region.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, maybe in the entire world. I think they are a very unique team. You know, we look at Snake and we call them, for want of a better word or a better phrase, the mad scientists. You know, they'll always come up with something different. They are definitely innovators, as well as having good players in each one of their roles. So, you know, they're a team who can make magic happen. I mean, sometimes the experiments go wide, you know, and something blows up in their face, but it's still fun to watch while it's happening, right?
Snake are always fun to watch. I mean, the second we saw them playing crazy things and bringing 2 supports in the roster, you can't help but be excited by not knowing what they're going to do next. Remember that these guys were the ones that revolutionized. They brought about Rengar Ivern as a combo. Like, they have done things that should not have existed in a competitive game, and they have won with it because they are very good at bringing those out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a caveat, right? Because it worked. You know, it was the biggest thing at the end of the day. Then on the opposite side, you've also got OMG, right? And I don't know if they're I don't know what exactly they mean by a 9 compartmentalized hotpot, but
I have no idea either.
Because they only have 5 players in the Rift, so are they saying that, you know, they'll attack from 9 different angles, or
they've got about 9
different
total
flavors? Like, they have 9 different tactics. Like, if we were to dissect, you know, that statement there by Xiang, what would that mean, Rusty?
9 different tactics, and unfortunately, none of them are working. That sums up OMG currently. Right now, for
Do they have 9
me,
people on the roster? I think it's good double check.
they have what?
I wonder if they have 9 people on the roster.
They have 3 junglers and 2 AD carries.
Yeah.
So that's pretty close. But
Yeah.
may as well, let's just say they have 9.
Yeah,
they have 9
sure,
now.
there you go.
Yep.
That's the reason.
Done. That's the strategy
Shipped
for
it.
them. I will say
KMH
that
broadcast.
strategically, they only really have Icon right now.
Mhm.
And for the side of OMG, if you look at, you know, we spoke about Snake's win conditions. What is it that OMG could do to actually win a set? They need to have a second person on the Rift that isn't Icon have a good performance. Because if you want to win the game, Icon can only do so much. He is called the hitman. He is not called the hard carry. He will find someone, he will kill someone, he will outplay someone. It always happens with Icon, but that's not going to result in a Nexus dying. So ultimately, someone else has to show up so that they can have a more team-oriented style.
Yep.
And it could be Xiang, it could be Xuanxuanpi. In this case, it's not going to be Chelly, but they need someone else to play up.
And that's under the assumption that the hitman isn't just, you know, constantly restarting the mission, trying again, right? Because I watch Icon, and yes, he has these massive outplays, these massive moments, and I think even more recently he has been playing up, but it's also inconsistent at the end of the day. He's going to be joined by Xiang, Jekko in the jungle, and Xuanxuanpi in AD carry with 5 in support.
And Superstar Icon's always the one you're going to have to keep your eyes peeled towards, but Xuanxuanpi, the Ash God, is the man that really comes to my mind. I'm excited to see how he performs up against, of course, his opponents in Snake.
Yep.
Words are hard.
They are both performers and opponents. Performance. They'll be going up against them today.
Words really are a challenge.
They
right
really
now,
are, Rusty. They're actually, you know, I'll blame it on the heat, shall we? I know it's
it's hot.
It's a bit of a scorcher here in Shanghai.
If you're wondering why I'm only wearing short sleeve shirts, it's because it's too hot to wear something
True.
like
Isn't it
Pulse.
it's
I
meant
don't know
to
what
be,
he's doing.
it's meant to be awesome, right? Isn't that the thing?
It's getting closer to autumn.
It's getting
I believe,
close. Yeah. Doesn't feel like it. Nope. Feels like the depths of summer, doesn't it?
It's every day.
I feel like we're looking at OMG for quite a while.
Yep.
I really like Icon's tattoos, actually. I feel like, I mean, he's been adding to it, definitely. I remember when it was just the hand tattoo.
It's in English, but I can't quite read what it says because he's got his arm this way.
Yeah.
But it has the word Icon in it as well.
Yeah, I think on his other arm it says Forever Young or something
Yes,
like
yeah,
that.
it says Forever Young.
Yeah.
But he added like Icon along there, the word Icon in English as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Do you know what's on his hand? Because I know that actually a lot of players in the LPL have hand tattoos. I know that Mystic.
I feel like Mystic started it.
Yeah, maybe. But I think Icon had it at the same time, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
They
I
are.
think his is like a skull, and I don't know what Icon's is.
It's like the sun, I think. But yeah, they're all getting a lot of hand tattoos. The LPL is full of tattoos right now. It's just
if you actually think
cool,
about
man.
it, it probably makes the most sense for a professional player to have like a hand tattoo versus anything else because they use their hands to play the game. You know what I mean? So you get a keyboard on the left hand and then like a mouse on the right hand.
I'm gonna hit you
or
with
like a sword and
the
a shield. You know what I
biggest
mean?
Disagree in history.
Because if you think about it, like the mouse is like the attacking hand, right? Because it's like the sword, and then
Still
the keyboard
going.
looks like a shield.
Still going.
I'm just saying, if you're a professional player, it might be a good idea.
You should never get a hand tattoo because you need your hands in public-facing areas, and you can't get into nightclubs, can't get into bars, you can't be a primary teacher. I learned that one.
Really?
Yeah, you can't. Like, you can't do a lot of things with a tattoo on your hand.
Wow.
That's why you cut it off at the watch, because that's where a long sleeve covers.
Ah, that's.
But
or wear gloves all
tattoos.
the time. You can just be that person who wears gloves. You know what I mean? Like, there's always ways around it at the end of the day. Hey, we're getting into Champion Select. Fantastic. And we're here in Chengdu. You can see it's actually a pretty packed audience tonight. And again, as we said earlier, this is a bit of a rivalry between the two teams. So both teams definitely want to try and get this one on the board here today. Yeah, it's Coach John. He's back behind Snape. And it's going to be us getting into Champion Select. So we'll be a Tam Kench, a Kindred, and a Gnar out from OMG. Snake going to ban away, of course, the Aatrox forever in ban prison. We should get to cast an Aatrox one day. And Talia will be joining it along with Rakan.
We're seeing a lot less Aatrox banned in the rest of the world. Some teams perhaps wanting to taunt and bring that one about. Same thing with Talia. Not being banned nearly as much in other regions, and the LPL still staying on the perma-ban list. Olaf has often been seen as a pick into it, however. And we even saw Ning in our last set play the Olaf, so the potential is there for them to pick that one up. However, they still want the Talia to persist in that ban area. Not going to see that one ever.
Might be something that you just don't want to deal with. You know, SOFM's the type of man who has all of his timings down to the second, so maybe Talia is just something that messes with that. So get it off the board. Of course, this is a team that definitely revolves around the old SOFM.
Yeah.
OMG are going to first pick themselves a Trundle for themselves.
I wouldn't be shocked to see the responses that Camille once again. SOFM has played it now. He has proven that it can flex. The Alistar also with Rakan ban. actually does raise up as a higher priority champion. When you look at the tanks in the support role that are still up and available, Tahm Kenchko and Rakan banned. You're looking at the Alistar and the Braum as the two big choices.
Pretty much it. Snake looking at their second pick now. They'll look towards bottom lane or just try and secure
Varus,
something early for themselves.
I think Varus is also a very good option. The LPL loves their Ryze as an early rotation.
They really do.
It can be pretty much picked into any matchup, or at least that's how the LPL feels about it. I know that Orianna is seen into it sometimes as counter, and remember that Icon is the kind of player that will have a counter pick ready and available. If he brings out something like the Kled, he can pull the Doinby and go aggressive on that Ryze, but even then I've seen him lose Kled matchups into the Ryze. It's entirely possible.
Yeah, you definitely have to change the way that you play into the Ryze of your Kled. You actually look for Joust early, which is something you don't look in other matchups. So we'll see if Icon does that here today. Of course, there are other options. So as a Yasuo, you know, you can do that too. That's going to be joined with the Gragas coming in here from OMG. So likely going to go to Jacob, but could also go top lane and could also go to support.
Yeah, they've actually done something rather curious here with their first 3 picks, OMG. The Gragas, you would expect, goes to the jungle for the Gragas Yasuo combo. However, Trundle is the jungler. So
yeah,
what they have right now is the flex of the top lane or the support Gragas to be seen into the Alistar. So that actually does fill the role of a tank engaged style support champion in the absence of Rakan and Alistar being picked away, of course, and banned by Snake. So I like that from OMG. And I'm curious to see what they put with it, because Varus is still up, still one of those high priority champions, and so versatile that I am honestly surprised it got through the first 6 picks.
That's true, yeah. Camille coming through as well for Snake. And will be a double tank ban. Will be Mundo and Galio coming out here from Snake and OMG.
That's so funny. Yesterday's set for Snake, Galio was the champion I wanted to see in their composition, and they picked LeBlanc in mid lane twice in a row when they had the Camille Galio as an available choice in their draft. So Galio is going to be respectfully banned by OMG this time. Perhaps Snake have realized in their overnight trip that they should probably pick a better team composition more than they should just pick 5 assassins and hope for the best.
That's a lot of time to think in that little metal box as you're flying over to a new city. Yeah, it will be a Cho'Gath ban as well right here. That's the other thing, you know, actually in the LPL, is the fact that, you know, Snake has had to travel a bunch over the last couple of days because obviously they got 3 series back-to-back in Week 9, so best of luck to him.
Yeah, they're doing the full trip, actually.
They really are, yeah.
Of course, the last time that OMG played against Snake, it was in the Chongqing Arena. This time around, Snake has to ship out towards Chengdu and go to OMG's home base.
Yeah. We said Sejuani ban right there, along with a Cho'Gath, so just a bunch of tanks being locked away. Varus makes it all the way through.
Give me that Ashe.
Oh, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling that one even more, though. I know it's going to be locked. It's going to be our 3rd one of the LPL. Akali so far has won 1, lost 1. So I'm hoping it'll be a win here today.
I think that, at least in part, confirms that it might be like a Gragas Yasuo bot. I really don't know. I'm waiting for this last pick, because if it's an obvious top laner, then we're okay and we limit the pool. But when you've got an Akali and a Yasuo, I would expect that the Yasuo is the one that goes to the bottom lane against a Varus. Other capabilities
I feel
there.
like... I don't know what I feel like, to be honest. I mean, last time we saw that Flandreas we see right here actually picked the Akali into the top lane.
That's the one.
We'll see where it all goes. Yeah, we've got Ornn in the end.
Okay.
So we've got a bit of a pick and mix right here. We've gone to the candy store and we've kind of just picked up a bunch of bruisers, and Akali and a Yasuo.
It means they get the potential counter in the, I was going to say top lane position. It may still be a jungler depending on what they want to do. Snake will pick the Camille into the jungle role for SOFM, and they will put the Swain towards the top lane. It may well be Ryze. Flandre is one of the top Ryze players.
That's true.
But he is into an Ornn, so I would expect the Grasp of the Undying Swain to go up there, get those free pox. We'll see, we'll see. It's all about the mid lane matchup more than it is the top lane matchup. Of course, when you're against the Ornn, you just do your thing. When you're against an Akali, it's a whole different ballgame. If you're a non-influential mid laner, you don't have push, then she can harass you willingly, and that's a free level 6 for Akali, which is usually a free laning phase and a free win through the early stages of the game. So I do kind of like that they put the Swain into the Akali matchup, try and get some early pressure and have a sturdy champion in that middle lane. And Ryze will just be scaling up top.
Well, indeed. There's a lot going on in this draft, and it all kind of happened in the last, like, 20 seconds. Because it was a whole lot of swap-ups. But I'm personally excited to get my chance to cast a bit of Akali, new champion. Big fan of the remake.
Depends what you mean by big fan. I think that she is utterly broken. However, I think she is much more fun than the last one.
The aesthetics here, Mr. Rusty.
Admiring those.
No, do you remember the days of Tank Akali? I was a big fan of Tank Akali. You go first item, Sunfire, then like Triforce, and you become better Hecarim.
I remember
it was
Tank Evelynn.
amazing.
I remember Tank Twitch.
Yeah.
There was a time where my Katarina build was 5 BF swords into a Bloodthirster.
That was a good one. Hexdrinker First was also great on Katarina once upon a time.
Yeah, way back.
Yeah, way back.
A lot's changed. These assassins, a lot has changed. They've become more complex, but also much more fun to watch and to play. However, they have also become insanely strong. Akali is the best example of that. Having the Shroud, having the free laning phase to level 6, basically, the free pass-through laning phase where she did not before. And then that level 6 spike being honestly insane. We'll see if Icon, of all players, the Assassin, the Hitman on the Assassin, can make it work, because this is definitely comfort zone for OMG's mid laner.
I mean, he is the guy, right? If you wanted anyone in the LPL to pick up Akali in her first week of play, then you would want it to be Icon. Of course, he's also playing to Flandre, picked it up the other day. So this will be an interesting one for sure here in Chengdu. Let's see who's going to come out victorious today. Seems like Chengdu hasn't necessarily caught up to the chance.
There we go.
Oh, he's gone rogue. Oh, get a guard in there, calm down. It's Riot.
Yeah, these guys are popping off right now. Jesus, the chance of got a recipe. There is a recipe for those of you that are just confused, but it's a bit of a what face lately. Now, while we're looking at this Akali, I just want to get your opinion. I feel like that looks like a Kindred skin.
It does, yeah.
I just wanted to get a yes.
Yes, it does, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Five is going to find light right here. It's going to back away. It's going to get knocked up, actually, as the hail of arrows come in. And Snake are actually pretty happy to keep on running. Chuan P, yeah, just blast the emote off him right there as he tries to bring up the thumb.
Double relics in the bottom lane, so Chuan PM5 are very comfortable taking any kind of health trade at level 1. They'll get all of their health back off these melee minions anyway. Looking towards the level 2 rush, most likely here. They get a bit more control in the lane.
Do you think, Rusty, that we'll see more, Yasuo's, double bruises down bot lane because we have had some of the support changes come in, reduce health potions, less sustain?
I mean, there is an argument to be had that a double relic shield bottom lane could be more valuable. Yes, definitely. But at the same time, it could go the other way and you could get more Namis and Sorakas, right? It's because they have heals to compensate for the lack thereof. So I really don't know. It depends on how the meta actually shakes out. I think there's a possibility and a viability for both as options.
Yep.
But really, the way that I've seen the meta lately is that you're just getting the tanks. Unsealed Spellbook enables too much to compensate for the lack of potions anyway.
Yeah, always interesting to see the adaptations down a bot lane. A lot of flexibility there. Jericho has been very much the starter for OMG in recent games, which is funny because, Mountain was obviously
Oh, you can't pull him because you can't see him? That's amazing. The obscurity there from Icon.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts, actually.
If Swain's definitely going to hit a Never move, you just place the obscurity on the ground, use that Twilight Shroud. You can't be touched.
Yeah, it's a really interesting ability. It's I'm actually struggling to think of many other abilities in the game that allows you to get underneath towers.
I mean, the only things that help you dive besides it, you can see the exact same thing again. The mechanic utilized by Icon brilliantly. The only things that really let you dive are untargetable spells. So you've got like your Elise Repel, your Camille Ultimate, two of the big things that can do exactly that and can enable diving. But Akali, of course, very unique in her own right, having her own special type of spell.
I mean,
True invisibility.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you just persistently get to be there underneath the tower instead of having to repel and then come back down, So, Akali's an interesting one, and in the first week of play, it was something like a 30% win rate in solo queue, and people were like, this champion's terrible. I mean, it's an assassin who can't instantly burst, and then people realized how you play the champion, like, complex champions usually are, and now people are like, Akali's really strong, please nerf.
Now, we spoke towards this lane already a little bit in the champ select. Swain is a bit of a burly man in the mid lane. He's not going to get pushed out. He's not going to die. He still has 3 stacks of his corrupting pot left anyway. So he's perfectly fine in that middle lane. But what that does do, as mentioned, is that Icon will get a free pass to level 6. You can see that he's not really losing control of the lane. Swain's the kind of champion that wants roughly level 7, the lower cooldown on the Q to start getting better push and better control of the lane. So Akali getting free 6 means that she definitely has the free reign to either get a jungle gank in mid, maybe look for some threat on kills, or move beyond that to the rest of the map.
Yeah, it's a pretty scary champion when she hits 6 as well. I mean, the fact that, I know we were talking about this, you're saying the fact that both parts do damage. I know the big initiation is you ult first, and then you look for the rest of the combo, because it's just your clean gap closer.
Yeah, if I was to balance Akali while we're still talking about her, I would make it so that you don't get bonus damage on R2 unless you hit the first one.
Yeah.
That way you have to combo it. You can't just use the first part of the ult to actually just close distance and still one-hit someone, which is honestly absurd. But here we are. Of course, the rest of the map's, rest of the map's fairly even. Jekko looking towards the top lane.
Something I didn't notice there, if you use the Shroud against the wall, it actually bounces towards the middle.
And follows terrain.
Yep. This makes sense. It's probably what would happen in real life. Jungler going up there. Jekko not finding anything, but S2FM moving towards the middle lane again. Will not find anything because this wave is being pushed in by Guagua. He's actually looking for the push right there. He's probably just defending mid lane as he wants to go back.
It's been a rather placid early game so far. Not a lot going on. Yeah. Serene start. It's not all that like Snake, really. You know, last time we saw them play against FunPlus Phoenix, S2FM was level 2 ganking. He was mapping his opponent jungler, but even in this game, he hasn't gone for any kind of crazy invades, engages, or anything of the like.
I appreciate the fact that Chuan Pete tried to win wall the Alistar.
He was win-walling.
He became the projectile.
He was doing it so Varus couldn't hit him during the combo, to be fair. Don't be mean to our players like that. You knew what he was doing.
It just looked very funny. Rocking the pink Alistar right there. Do you like it, Hudia? Chuan Pete has to recall very far away from the tower because it's big, scary cow. So try and interrupt his recall.
He can stay. He's got relic stacks and so does the Gragas. So he'll get so much health back from just clearing the wave under turret that he should feel okay. The only reason you'd be recalling there is if you have a big item and you're willing to sacrifice a wave, which should never exist in any kind of circumstance, or you thought that their jungler was on the bottom side of the map threatening to dive. You don't want to step up with a wave that large, the risk of dying.
Oh, there you go, the E connects from Icon, and he's able to follow through. My god, he's all over the place. Guo takes all the steps just back towards and finds the solo kill. And that's where Fam just rocks up to mid lane just in time to see his Birdman die.
And what did we say, Icon? He hits level 6, he's able to use the ultimate, picks himself up the solo kill onto Guoguo. The Hitman strikes again, and S2FM doesn't get that extra distance, cannot find any attempt at a trade. And the 1v1 comes across. OMG start on the right foot.
My god, she just has so many dashes with the perfect execution, throws out the shuriken, then she's got another dash. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. Actually initiated that one with the shuriken, not using the ultimate first, so crazy stuff. I actually hope we see that one again because a lot happened very quickly. Actually takes me back to like the old days of Zed. You know, when Zed had like the old dash and then his other living shadow, and he's just literally jumping and dipping and diving all over the place. But that was crazy.
It's a lot to take in for certain. You know, we've been talking a lot about Akali in this game, and for very good reason, given what we just saw happen. The ability to get those solo kills against the Swain, against the Ryze, probably the same thing would have happened. Maybe even earlier. So, good start here for OMG. Unlocks a lot of control around the map as well. I do hope we get that replay also. So, FM not going to be here even close to in time.
I didn't notice that Blue Buff actually is getting rid of Summer himself. He's got the...
Yeah, they've got all the little things on him.
Yeah.
Red buff as well.
Swim pants as well.
Quite fancy. Yeah. But Blue buff's got a surfboard.
Yeah, which if you think about it is weird, because typically in summer you take off clothes because it's warm. They actually put more on. Alright, let's see that trade once again. Yep.
Yeah, he's just able to hit the E, follow that one forwards, and of course uses the ultimate, obscures vision from the turret so that he's not going to take that bonus damage, and then with enough energy to throw in a Q and ult, knows that he has enough to flash back forwards and get the kill. Yeah. Guoguo thought he was actually out scot-free, and then he was just able to put some further harass on, but not the case. Too much mobility from an Akali.
So much mobility, perfect usage of the Twilight Shroud, great use of the passive as well.
And maintaining energy
coming in,
is the
and
thing.
also maintaining energy. It was a lot that went on very, very quickly there that was difficult to digest, but Icon, obviously full mastery of this champion.
He's an assassin.
Again, he is the assassin. If you were to pick a single player in the LPL, he is the assassin player.
I would have probably Icon and Rookie pegged as the two assassin players. And they are two of the players that have picked up the Akali very early on.
Yeah. I mean,
Andre was the other.
Rookie kind of does it all. You know, he's the guy of the Champion Ocean. You know,
he is. But if you
like
think
Orianna
about,
is like the champion.
But what is his most defining moments? You'll think of like Echo versus Yasuo or his Fizz play.
Irelia, Galio.
Well, Galio, you're thinking recency.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. Oh, Ornn Horn into the top lane. Flandra's going to flash this one. Look for the round warp. Nothing to interrupt him. Up on the other side, it happens to be a Gragas. So that's unfortunate. And Flandra is going to get eviscerated by Icon.
Yeah, completely demolished there. OMG, they've got their finger on the pulse, and Flandre, try as he might to cover distance. 5 was already there. And that just gets you wondering, you know, Xuanxuanpi is by himself in the bottom lane. 5 on the opposite side of the map between turrets has covered so much distance to be there for that gank.
Yeah.
And it's going to be wildly successful. And playing on the weak side, Xuanxuanpi backs away. He doesn't get caught out of position. There's no trade from Snake. Once again, a second kill goes over. That's 2 that go to Icon specifically.
Setting up on the substitute mid laner here, Jericho.
He may face check this one. If he doesn't pillar the bush.
Jericho. He's aware.
It doesn't give vision though.
No, it doesn't. But yeah, now he sees them, brings up the radar, and is just like, I knew something was up. You know, I don't see Hudia down in the bottom lane. I don't see SOFM, so there's a good chance they're at my Raptors, especially because it is SOFM.
This is actually pretty good stuff from OMG through the first 10-odd minutes of this game. They're playing their weak side properly. They're playing towards their strengths properly as well with that dive on the top side of the map. Icon being 1-0 now, 2-0 is about to get his Hextech Gunblade, most likely after he clears this next wave in mid. And he gets the reset off. And then suddenly he is free to pivot around the map and assassinate everybody. He gets the ball rolling for the rest of the Rift, then OMG, I mean, as a team, feeling real good for themselves.
They really are. I mean, also the Romans coming out from 5, really a big deal. I mean, who are the people you called? One was the Wanderer.
Road was the Wanderer.
Who's the other Wanderer? It was someone who does it, but they were like an explorer.
Yoon was the Traveler.
The Traveler. I feel like 5 might be the like Dora the Explorer. You know?
5 and Caveman were in their own subcategory of hit or miss.
Yeah.
I didn't have a nickname for them, but basically if you're looking at 5 and he's 0 and 5, OMG are probably losing the game, and he's the one who dies the most.
Yeah.
As a result of them losing the game.
But you can't give 5 the nickname 0 and 5. I mean, that's...
Yes, you can.
Or 5 and 0, perhaps. Flandre is getting his ass whooped currently by an Ornn. Here comes Icon. Oh, this is going to give him PTSD. And now he's completely just dodged the tower aggro. Actually going to find a nice snare right there. And Xiang, he's just tanking the tower for days. He's going to just walk this one off as Icon just once again kills the top laner.
And we came into this set saying that what OMG need is a second person to pop off. Well, what they've done instead is they've empowered the one member of the team to have a big game. Now 3-0 of the 3 kills that they have gotten. 11 minutes in the game. He is going to be a monstrous Akali to contend with. And that's not going to be an easy feat for anyone on Snake to be able to do at all.
Oh yeah, it's going to be, you know, shall we say, problematic for Snake as we move forward. So I will go back and harken to an earlier point you made, Rusty, which is, you know, Icon can pop off, but will that actually net you the win at the end of the day? Because, you know, Icon 3-0 right now is, yes, he's picked up a Gunblade at 12 minutes, which is, you know, pretty scary, but will he be able to kill all 5 people as an assassin?
I don't think you'd be really aiming to kill all 5 people. Icon has gone for the Ignite, so keep that in mind. He's not running a teleport. He's not going to try and fully fledged 1-3-1 style of play, but there's a chance that they put him in a side lane and that they are content with the 4v4 by having Xiang around, just having that big front line to soak. However, OMG's major weakness that their composition has is no pure wave clear. There's no ranged AD carry like a Varus that can clear waves from a safe distance. So they're going to have to be aggressive. I would expect the 5v5 dives. We'll see if they can make those actually happen. But for the meantime, during the early game, during the mid game, they don't necessarily need to take the 5v5s if Icon can pivot elsewhere on the map. They can get a gold lead large enough to enable the dives later on by getting him to top, getting him to bottom, and breaking those turrets.
It's interesting how she throws the Shuriken, but then the mark is a kunai. Feels like, you know, there's a bit of continuity error right there. OMG gonna get themselves a dragon. Fortunately, it's just a cloud dragon, but next one will be in an Infernal. They can get control of that area. SOFM on the opposite side, not one to have a trade in the jungle be completely negative. He's gonna look towards the Herald right here. Shelly's gonna have a crack at him, but he's gonna be okay.
Xiang though, he's considering it. He was standing on top of the blast cone, but there's so many people here that I don't think he should be looking at this.
Well, he knows it's down now. In fact, there were all 5 people.
He might actually just stop the recall, depending on, so Vladre cancels it of his own accord with that ward placed over the wall by the Alistar. They weren't sure where the rest of OMG were, so they'll respect Xiang, they'll walk away. Continue the recalls off. Nice little trade finally from SOFM. He's on the Rift.
Don't challenge a man and his chickens. Chicken Farmer SOFM is going to be mad about this one. Yeah. I mean, that's what happened, really. SOFM still looking for the escape, dodge over the wall. Oh, come back here!
The Krugs.
There wasn't enough damage. Oh, he's got it to the perfect timing. It's going to be a flash over the wall and a follow through from Chuan P.
They actually secured the kill for the Yasuo from that. SOFM was going to die to Krugs, and he chooses a valiant death. Glorious death instead of Krugs ruining his life.
Oh, they're out of the woodwork. It's the double lockup coming from Hoodia. That's going to be a kill immediately onto Chuan P.
Still going.
But we are still going to follow through. Everybody comes in. Even the minions get involved right there. 5 slowed down from the Visions of Empire. He's going to dash over the wall, but it's going to be a follow through from Flandre. Now 2 versus 1 in the arena. Here comes Hoodia, but Icon ready to play as well. Flandre wants to get out immediately, but Jirko going to knock him back towards him. Knocks him once over the pillar. It's going to be a kill back over to the Trundle.
And they finally get a kill that isn't onto Icon as well. So 1 to Trundle, 1 goes to Shotshot P. OMG in the end still come out on top. Snake finally with some resistance seen. There's some fight in the system of the Snake composition. At the end of the day, it's not meaning a great deal. It's going to be the on-hit Varus as well. We didn't mention that. Lethal Tempo. He's gone for his Blade of the Wrong King, and he has spiked in items. But what's he going to be able to do stepping up to a 3-0 Akali in the mid-game when your Ryze is 0-3, when your mid laner hasn't really had any kind of attention put towards him and any focus, because he doesn't provide any threat?
Yeah, I've got an answer for you. Not a lot is what he does. Though we will have the split push Forge God in the bottom lane. He's going to have a go at this tower, and he's going to knock it over. 600 gold in the pocket of Xiang. It's going to be a big old Ornn as we get towards this mid-game.
But of course, when you look at both compositions, you want late game. If you're Snake, you would feel very confident in the late game compared to your opponents, who have to execute brilliantly to win any kind of team fight. When you've got a Gragas Yasuo, that's a form of engage right there. However, a Yasuo being the follow-up to that to get any kind of extra crowd control is not ideal. You've got Ornn. Is the big engage point. It's the big focal point, and often you'll find that Ornn has to teleport into fights, so he's not going to be there from the get-go, which is why we say Gragas, and why we say Yasuo. There's disregard bottom, not really doing anything.
But you can definitely regard top, because that's going to be the barrel into an ultimate from Chuan P. We had another great knockup in from Hoodia. Will this actually save Light though, because he's still getting followed up on. He's going to die behind the tower, and Hoodia, the hero of the day.
It will save them. Rift Turret also summoned in the bottom lane by SOFM, so they're going to push and they're going to get a turret. If nothing else, it'll be a single turret trade. If Xiang can defend the bottom lane, which it looks like he will quite successfully, then that's all it's really going to amount towards from good mechanical plays from each respective team.
Yeah, I don't even know how Hoodia keeps on landing these multi-man knockups. Like, you know, the double man knockup makes sense, but someone was like on the opposite side of the screen, and he somehow managed to catch him in the pulverize. So I don't know what Hoodia's been doing, but it's definitely been something good.
This is the game where an Alistar can get MVP.
Yeah.
He is against 5 melee champions. If ever there was a time to hit the pulverize of all pulverizers, it would be this game.
That's fair.
He's got free reign.
Yeah,
he's definitely wishing he had that one.
Not going to be the case. Alright, Icon. He's done a lot.
Uh-oh.
But what have you done recently? Oh no. There's going to be a flash into the dash, and Light, he just doesn't know what's going on right now. Now it's the follow through from the rest of his team. They're not very happy that they've just killed his ally. And Icon, I respect it, going all the way back through the tower. But it will be a kill and a shutdown right there to SOFM.
Icon with nowhere to go. He also uses the flash on the backside of that one. So they make the trade, but the cost is still so high for Snake. Damage onto this mid lane outer turret. Now Hoodia will be there in time to save that one from going down, but it is only a matter of time. And Icon found his first moment to go into the side lanes, and that is that point in the game where you feel like it could be dire straits for the side of Snake if he stays there and is successful, because who goes against him? The answer is at least 2 people, and that's where OMG can make the plays elsewhere on the map.
Is indeed. Bit of a kamikaze play there from Icon, but it definitely wasn't in vain. As you said, damage on the mid lane tower has gone back to base. Picked up the Oblivion Orb and also the Merc Dredge right now, so he's still scaling on up. The mid tower probably here to crumble from OMG, slowed down by the Visions of Empire, but all I'm seeing is a dead SOFM right now because he needs to step away. Oh, he's going to jump right back in though. He sees an opportunity to take out Xiang, who flashes the wall. Tower still dies, getting a bit frisky there.
Yeah, 5 also just tanks the turret up and enables the rest of his team to take it down regardless. Nothing massive happens. I think SOFM just had a horrendous freak out moment. He was not sure what was going on. The second the cast connected, he just used his ultimate to go forwards and then just hookshotted his way to safety. But nonetheless, no one died. It's just a lot of continued pressure growing on the Rift.
It is. One might say it's a gathering storm.
It's a battle of trades as well. We just heard Akali use.
I know, yeah.
But she's bottom.
I know.
You know what? For a half second, I just immediately went to the minimap. Was like, Flandre's dead.
Yes.
But he's not dead.
Yeah. He's
She's
arisen by himself. Relatively on mana, and that was Nakali.
Don't tell me that it's a spectator bug that has a global sound. Like the Amumu crying.
Well, that wasn't just spectators. That was also in-game.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But, like, if that existed.
Oh,
it
there
okay,
it is.
It's global.
Yeah. That's going to throw me. I'm going to be like, Akali's got... No, she's on Raptors.
Akali.exe has stopped working.
We were talking about Champion of the Day. Like, we would balance them by making them have a global animation.
Yeah, I think strategically it adds something.
Yeah. But I can't remember who the champion was. I know we were specifically talking about it.
I forget who as well.
Yeah, it was some irrelevant champion, and we were like, if they had a global like animation in the same way that Amumu had, they'd actually make them good.
You know what would make Garen better?
What's that?
Is if you could put fake Garens in a bush.
That would... Dude, actually make that just an ability. If he stands in the bush.
The robot mode?
Look at the collapse. Icon's just below. Who do you say is get out of my pit? And everybody tries to get to the chopper. Oh no! We left Private Hoodia behind. Oh no. Now he's going to be Icon food. He's dead. Flandre. Ooh, looks like Flandre tried to go back in there and save the cow, but in fact he needs to be getting out of here. Locks one down into Rune Prison, but remember, the traffic cone comes up, and that means that Yasuo is going to be falling forwards. He sees the green light. But they're going to escape from this one in the end, only losing the cow.
Now they keep finding opportunities to go forwards here, OMG, but at the end of the day, Snake, they had their number, except for the Alistar. Flash is incredibly late, can't get himself to safety, and is just going to be Icon food, like you mentioned. Now 5-1 on the Akali. That is a very big assassin, but still, one assassin being this fed. OMG don't always routinely win games with Icon being ahead. He often gets these kills, and they still find a way to lose.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? You want the rest of the gold maybe to be distributed, but Icon right here is just like, oh, where's the
The saddest cow you've ever seen.
Very much the case. I mean, Icon just gets to do whatever he wants, you know? He's basically just a moving training dummy at that point, so...
And with the Flash God as well, there was no actual outplays, unfortunately, for him. Regardless, he's going to go down. So taking stock of this game, from this point onwards, just remember that if you ever hear Akali use W, she may not be on the screen.
But she might.
She might be, but she might not be.
She might not be.
OMG have got themselves a 5k gold lead though overall, so whilst we mention Icon being ahead and that he can't do it all by himself, they have still overall got themselves a sizable advantage. And I'm not going to say that all of that would be on Icon. He's probably 2k ahead, but not a whole lot more than that.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, a lot of gold is also on Yorn, because he's been split pushing a lot. Also, he got first tower gold, and he's got 2 assists. So that one you can expect to be around 1,000 gold.
I mean, Yasuo's also hit
ahead.
2 items. Put that into consideration.
Yes, he has,
He's hit some big spikes.
Yeah. I mean, the Phantom Dancer, relatively cheap compared to the Sterak's, but the Sterak's is a relatively expensive one. Also, he's gone for boots right there.
It's also about the item spike timing. So,
yeah.
You know, Gold's side, he's got 2 items compared to the Varus, who is still waiting to purchase those ones. I would expect he's closer than what we're currently looking at in his items, however.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know if that stopwatch is from Runes. Yeah, Flash is being knocked up right here, and he pretty much just spends his entire life being hit by something that was displacing him into a Yasuo being on his head. And that's what's going to happen here once again. The Chuan will get another kill. Now Flandre 0 out of 4.
The more you think about it, the more OMG's composition makes degrees of sense around the 4v4. Like, they have knockups just everywhere, and those knockups is very hard to QSS and flash out of. That's the only real way you can escape them. OMG, they find a pick in a side lane, and Snake are not responding. I feel like they went over to Baron for a hot second and thought this is a mistake, and it almost cost them a turret bottom.
Wow, taken down to half right there. That was a massive push coming in from OMG. And this is the power of the 9 segments hot pot tactic.
That's self-named, of course, by OMG. We didn't call it that, but they seem to believe that their strategic depth has 9 whole segments to it.
Yeah, this is how it is now.
And they're playing with a composition that will need more than one strategic diversity aspect to it. So you give them credit for that. They get bottom lane. They continue to grow that gold lead, and they're not doing it with their Akali. They're doing it around where their Akali is on the map. Second, he was near mid. Snake tried to group up and pressure around that area. I mean, he's still alive, perfectly fine. Survives on the weak side, and they find a strong side elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find deeper meaning within the 9 compartments of Hot Pot.
You could probably interpret whatever you want.
I
from
mean,
it,
now
boss.
I'm thinking that it could be like a tic-tac-toe board, you know? Giving them the X's and the O's.
That is a absolutely bloody genius idea, Pulse. You can play tic-tac-toe,
Cheers,
not
Rusty.
knowing what is in the hot pot segments.
That's true.
Yeah. So you pick one. If you want to win
Yeah.
at tic-tac-toe, you
You've
could get
gotta
a
eat
mystery
something.
food.
Yeah. Outside of that, that thing. It could be spicy. It could be mild. You might regret it in the morning, but boy, did you win that game of tic-tac-toe. I think we might have just revolutionized a hot pot eating for the entirety of China right here on this broadcast, Rusty.
So the future is now.
Yeah.
That we brought it to you, but also credit us.
Yeah. Don't let
'Cause
your
we brought it to you.
memes be dreams. I was like watching Icon Farm. I just like a lot of the new champion designs. I feel that like they have very satisfying farming animations. You know, like Irelia is definitely one of them. I think Akali
She
also
feels
fun to
smooth.
watch.
I don't enjoy watching Akali clear waves. Something about the queue that's just harsh.
Yeah, that's kind of the point, you know.
I mean, is harsh satisfying?
It can be, if you know what I mean.
Depends what you're into.
That's true. OMG completely blocking off that choke point with that barrel. Oh, Flandre. I think Rise is another good one with Spell Flux.
Yeah, Rise is a big one.
Yeah,
Lulu's also great with AP.
Lulu? It's the sound, I think, that it makes more than anything.
Diana's my favorite.
Diana.
You can clear the arc of range minions with a single Q.
Yes. Yeah.
They
Vi
hit
is
the
a good one
concave.
because she's like a vacuum cleaner. Because they all get like sucked into a line and then you use your
Do you
excessive
play
force.
Vi though? Because it
yeah, I
feels
mained it in
it feels
season
really
3.
bad until you get the 3-stack passive on for the extra attack speed, and then you feel like a god. But
We were
prior
like,
to that,
punch,
it's
punch.
not great.
Punch.
Yeah.
Punch. Yeah.
You've just thank you for putting that into sounds that I'm sure people will relate with.
I mean, it's like Talia Q when she does a lot of damage. It's like because it goes in at different timings, so it's like ow, 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 ow. You know, like that's how it happens. Like right here, Yasuo is more like melodic. It's just kind of like stab, stab, stab.
He's got a rhythm. Of course,
Yeah.
Ocean Dragon started here by OMG, not contested. by Snake.
Trundle's is like thump, 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 or crunch, thump, thump, thump.
It's literally a chomp, bro. That's
Yeah.
the sound.
Yeah.
It's Thank you for that one, though.
That's gonna be good.
Baron's the point they'll fight, for the record, in this one.
Yeah, we're just kind of waiting right now because it's just a lot of farming, consolidating resources, getting ready for the next big engagement. But right now, OMG are a solid 6,000 gold
We got
ahead. He did, yeah. What were you expecting?
Well, I was expecting the Akali to get it by pressing Q, but Swain got it with a W, so...
Oh my, wow. I got jukes.
Welcome back to the game.
Welcome to 15 seconds ago. Wow, visions of
Holy,
get wrecked.
we're 27 minutes in.
We are Rusty, yeah.
OMG against Snake. Remember, it's 5th versus 6th, so the stakes are still high. They're trying to make the 4th playoff spot, but at the end of the day, it is 5th versus 6th, and both teams are on a gigantic loss streak. So someone has to break the streak today, and don't be surprised if these teams are not the cleanest when it comes to gameplay. But so far, so good from OMG,
it will
honestly.
be entertaining, and we can say that is on the tin, and we will deliver.
There is honestly going to be explosions.
Yeah. Yep. Who do you think is our like resident Torg? You know, in the team. I forget.
In the team?
Yeah, in our casting team.
Oh.
Dom.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe if you combine Dom and Raz, you'd have Torg. Well, Flandre, he's learnt his lesson. It's like any one of these nerds can knock me up,
The
and then I'm
Gragasol is all
gonna
you
get
need.
Yasuo.
Yeah.
But OMG are just kind of getting restless, you know? It's just like no one's come out of hiding. Icon can't assassinate anyone.
they
We've
need
taken
to
everything
be.
on the board. Let's try and go bot and take the tower. Oh, we can't.
If they're not feeling restless, then they should be.
Yep.
Again, if you take stock of the compositions in this game, Snake want that super late game stage. The risk that Snake would run is that they only really have that one pure tank, but Rise, who is currently 0-4, has found 3 items. If he hits late game, he's still going to be a powerhouse. Camille can assassinate either of the melee carries that he'll be against if they step up in front of him. Swain late game's a powerhouse, and they have an 80 carry in their composition where OMG do not. So there is a lot here for Snake, resting on just hitting the super late game, getting to 4 item spikes apiece if possible, and just going for the 5v5. For OMG, they've got a really good combo, but that combo isn't purely going to be 5v5 oriented. It is a Yasuo ult based off someone else setting it up. That's their combo, and then you follow it with a whole lot of knockups afterwards. And you hope that that Yasuo can machine gun damage out. Akali's just going to be picking someone off ideally on the flanks. I would imagine once you hit the later stages of the game, though, unless he gets a good flank off, and it's just an Ignite Akali, is most likely going to be focusing the closest target that is an Alistar and trying to kill them.
I think like a really good indication of how this game has gone so far is just the fact that 3 of the stopwatches are still available right now for OMG. Just haven't really used them. About half an hour on the clock, and you know, we just had the last time someone died was half a century ago.
He is absolutely soloing this with no lifesteal.
1v1ing the Baron.
You know, one more member would be wondrous for Sean P. He's finally got it.
Do it. See if he can actually find the one.
It's going to take so long for those two to do it. It's insane. Now, if they have Jericho visible, then a Snake may assume that it's not being done. That's the plan so far.
Guogo on the top side.
Visions of Empire
he's
just spotted
all 3 of them on this one.
Oh, they're
all teleporting in, and 5 is already very, very low. Shane on the bottom side, but are actually finding a bit of a flank right here. 5 will look to go back into the fight as they knock up the Alistar, and now it's a fight on 3 different fronts. But Snake win the one in the south as they move into the main fight. They win the second, and OMG are completely rooted.
Yeah, they're struggling now, OMG. They're going to have to back away 5 members alive from Snake, and that's all of the damage and tankiness they need to just go straight over to the Baron buff. That is one of the biggest mistakes from OMG, tragically. The second Swain spotted them, you know they wanted to back away, but the Rise brought them in with no hesitation. Baron's theirs.
Oh, the Cal's mad, and he finds a triple knockup into the follow-through from SOFM. That's going to be a kill. The slowdown to SwanChuanP is good, and they are corralling them onto the wrong side of the map for OMG. SwanChuanP goes down, and Icon finds the Gunblade onto Flandre, but he is chasing them down. He is angry for the first half an hour, and he will get his first kill of the game.
And exactly what you would expect here for Snake. They try and scale up. They wait for OMG to try and make the plays before they do something themselves. But Flandre's ultimate here was fantastic. SOFM did have to flash to get onto it, but he finds himself next to the pit perfectly fine. Now, Light and SOFM will kill Shia. He is separated. He is meant to be the front line of OMG's composition. Yasuo doesn't get the ideal combo off either. Not able to hit multiple members, and Icon and SwanChuanP, the damage dealers, just find themselves zoned. At the end of the day, if those two aren't dealing consistent damage, OMG cannot win a team fight.
Yep. Really unfortunate. I mean, at the same time, really well played by Snake, but it really was set off by the fact that Guogo was like, well, I have this ability that's, you know, just normal cooldown that I can just throw in the Baron pit and then also scatter at the same time. OMG, it was just really, really, really slow. I mean, they were trying to force something very hard, but they were kind of in 2 minds. It's like, do we want to force a fight here? Do we want to sneak the Baron? Do we want to do both? And it felt like they were doing both, and then that's where they really got caught with their pants down.
I don't want to be too disingenuous to OMG's strategy there, right? I think that the thing that caught them off guard was the Rise ultimate more than anything else. Yeah. So, you know, Swain spots them, fine, we back away. But a Yasuo and a Gragas trying to take it whilst Jericho is visible is a perfectly fine opportunity to try and take. Because if they spot you, you just walk away. And really, if the enemy team sees the jungler not in the Baron pit, then they might assume that it's not being done. That's fair to try.
But then my question is it fine when you know there is a Rise on the other team and you know there is a Swain on the other team? You know, it's not like this fact changed in the last half an hour.
I think it's still fine to try, yeah. I mean, what else are OMG going to do to win this game? They can't siege against Snake's composition.
And how do you do it better then, you know, in terms of the execution? How do you make that not happen there from OMG? If you do the same play, but then you change how you execute.
You just have to be better at disengaging, really. The cohesion from, you know, Xiang being separated from his team means that the disengage was horrible from them. If you ask me, how do you do it better? I think the strategy was fine. The positioning on the map from Snake, they were confined to their Raptor camp at best until the Rise ultimate came in, so you can't ask for a whole lot more from OMG in map control, besides Xiang being in a better position. Because the second that the Rise used the ultimate, there should have been an Ornn horn sounded from him in position. But he was caught on the other side of the river.
On the port, yeah. Possibility, but now he is getting completely demolished. That was meant to be the tank of OMG, and Snake are actually just kicking this door wide open. SwanChuanP dips into the backline, but it's both him and Icon going golden before Icon finds one of his own. Hudir, angry, he just killed his AD carry. He's going to lock it up for days right here, as Guoguo will finish him off with the Force Lightning. That'll be 2 kills over to Snake, the tower, and the inhib.
Now that's Xiang gone and Icon removed as well, but with Icon gone, that's a lot of the gold of OMG missing. Baron's still there for Snake. With these 4 members alive, they are looking.
Oh, S2FM definitely looking, gives P the ultimatum. He's caught on the wrong side of the fight right here. Jericho jumps in to try and save the man. Indeed does so, but at the cost of his own life. And Snake right here actually just looking for the game. They were back on the back foot for the entirety of the game up until this turnaround, and now they are actually looking for the win. Snake, they want the last kill. They want everything from OMG, and they will get it. Another Force Lightning kill. Dabs on them, S2FM. Xiang comes up from base. That's how long this fight has been. An entire death timer.
Hit the Nexus.
But Snake, they really want Ornn dead.
He's got a Gargoyle Stone Plate
and they win. There we go. Snake will take game 1 against OMG.
Took them a little while playing with their food there, Snake, just towards the end. But once they had the Baron, the victory was all but theirs to secure. So they go towards the bottom lane. And all they need for victory, Snake, is that single inhib gone. They don't need to play slowly. They don't need to control the map. OMG's composition was not going to be able to defend against that Baron push. And what was a promising start for OMG. Good movements around the map. Good play on their weak side as well, avoiding their opponents making trades. Completely backfires. Because they can't do anything in the mid stages of the game. They can't translate that gold lead into towers, into a victory. At the end of the day, OMG lose to Snake.
They do indeed. And I mean, really, the gold graph, I think, just demonstrates how this entire game went. And even though Flandre was essentially the Kenny of the entire game, he did end up with the most damage in the game with 19,000 right there. And while, yeah, you can see that OMG made a massive splash, eventually he's going to come back up for air. And Snake, that one Baron, basically turned the entire game. That was what? A 7,000 gold lead at one point in the game to OMG?
And I have my feelings, you know, watching this game, that,
I have feelings
that perhaps they took the Yasuo to deny it from their opponents. Because if you ask me, you know, what would I change in this game for OMG in their draft to make things better for them immediately? I would say an AD carry instead of a Yasuo. Because Varus was up for the first 3 picks. It was a 4th pick. It wasn't banned away by either team. And they're able to lock that one down very easily for themselves, Snake. If I'm OMG, my 3rd pick could have been an AD carry, not a Yasuo. It makes you wonder why the Yasuo when the Akali is potentially an option for them. Now, they did pick Akali 4th. So perhaps it was trying to bait things from their opponents on the first 3 picks as a rotation to maybe get a counter of the Akali. They did that successfully, but then their composition scales off so hard that they don't actually have a late game realistically, and they don't really even have the most successful 1-3-1 type of composition, with a Yasuo and Akali being the only 2 sources of damage and wave clear amongst the team.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for me there, Rusty, is the fact that they just didn't have a team fight, really. You know, they get later on into the game, it's like they're really just trying to force something. And then we got to the point where the Baron happened, and it's just like, yes, part of it was the execution, but it was also the fact that, again, this is another game where Icon has all of the gold, and he's not able to win with it.
Yeah, and you can see the Ryze ultimate here in this big team fight, basically the game decider. It separates Xiang from the rest of OMG, and then suddenly, you know, Huria, Guoguo between the 2 of them, not going to have a whole lot of things that can kill them between an Akali and a Yasuo, especially when an Alistar has got his ultimate. And of course, Guoguo in the mid lane, he's going to have his Zhonya's if it comes to it, as the Swain with his ult healing off all 5 members anyway.
Yeah, I mean, your front line basically there is Xiang, right? So if he's split from the team, then, I mean, at the same time, your carries are split from the team, right? Like, your team is the Ornn, and he used to be in front right there, but didn't happen. And yeah, I think that it was very scattered there at the very end, and like, in a weird way, you kind of do want a scattered team fight when you have multiple assassin-type picks, when you have like a Yasuo and a Akali. You want them to be in the 1v1s,
you don't want a front to back.
The 2v2s. You don't want a front to back, yeah. And we just kind of had like we definitely had 3 different fights going on there, but unfortunately the carries were just way away for anything they could really hurt. So again, let's take a look at our MVP from this game. Who is it going to be, Rusty?
Maybe...
It's Guoguo! Congratulations, Guoguo!
But he's not Ryze. He's the Swain.
Wait, it's Flandre. Flandre got the MVP, not Guoguo.
Who? Okay, was it though?
This is the wrong picture.
Okay, so it was Flandre that got it. It was the wrong everything.
Yeah, it's like basically which one do you pick? I think what would have been better if we actually just put S2FM's picture there. Guoguo, S2FM, and then we also had Ryze at the same time. It's like, who actually got the MVP? We don't know.
I think it's a good MVP from Guoguo. He played a sound game, even considering that he got solo killed. He was able to come back and teamfight nicely. Flandre individually, though, being the real MVP, going 0-4 and still teamfighting like a machine, was impressive.
It's how you recover at the end of the day, because there's a lot of people who go 0-4 and are just actually just useless for the rest of the game, you know. But Flandre still delivered the most damage in the game by a long shot as well, so still managed to do a lot. But I mean, it was a tough hand to be dealt if you're the Rise, because it was basically everybody with a knock-up who can do it from long range, and then a Yasuo who can be on the opposite side of the map, and he's just like, did I hear someone knocked? Rise up, fantastic.
There's also things that you can't expect happening in that game. Like, at what point do you look at the map and say, there's a Yasuo farming bottom lane, so that's cool, and then a Gragas is in between both of my turrets, locking me down when I try and ult away? Like, that's not something you would expect to have happen to you, and that may be one of the reasons why he was dying in the first place. That first kill comes across, but that was all the momentum that OMG needed, right, to follow that one through. They found a target, they picked on the target, and it was successful. This also comes back to a problem that I have been having with Snake recently. They do win the game in the end, so credit to them for hitting the late game and hitting the team fights, but they don't have an early game. They don't have any kind of early game transition to mid game at the moment. It's SOFM usually making an aggressive play, and if that aggressive play backfires, they're donezo. But he didn't do anything in this game. He just kind of let it happen. OMG slowly mounted themselves a gold lead until they found the late game, because OMG gave them the late game and they didn't close it out cleanly.
You know what I find funny, Rusty, is a large part of that explanation was actually very similar to FPX. You know, it's just like they don't really have an early game or a mid game, but my god, their late game team fights today look good, and that's usually how they win a lot of their games. So then yesterday, actually, Snake took on FPX, and how'd that one go?
And FPX had an early game. That's the weird thing.
Yeah. So it's just like, well, Snake, I mean, what are you right now? You know, are you playoff contention material, or are you just a weaker FPX? You know, it's just like, that's a big question right now. It's like, actually, how good are Snake in his current meta?
We really don't know, but Snake have got a lot of time to discover themselves with all of the sets that they have remaining at the very least.
Yeah, they've got half a split remaining. So for now, though, we are going to take a short break. When we get back, though, we'll see if Snake can make it the 2-0.
请重庆的召唤师们继续带给 Snake 力量，雄起！